Hey guys, it's me, Miss Dairy McNugget, and I am here to tell you guys about a customer service experience that I had that was not grand. It was not wonderful. It was not even borderline pleasant. And I know this is a small fish to fry here at our backyard fish fry that we're having, and I'm filming this a day before Christmas. Yesterday was Christmas Adam. Today it is Christmas Eve. And you know, they always say Merry Christmas, never Joseph Christmas, and I think that's pretty sexist. That said, guys, this experience was not great. It's not. It wasn't great. It wasn't fun. It wasn't fresh. Actually, it was, we'll get there, but it was not fresh. It was not fresh. I have to preface all of this by saying that I have not been eating healthy. Yay! Yay! Everybody's shocked. Hey, yeah, you see this double chin? You're shocked. Act shocked. You're shocked, okay? I haven't been eating as healthy as I was over the summer. I did really well up until the end of summer, and then some things transpired in my life where I fell off the bandwagon of my wonderful diet and my exercise. Not so much my exercise. I have been slacking on the exercise department.
Death adds 10 pounds.
But I'm still walking a lot. So we're getting back into it. The new year is coming. When you're watching this, hey, Happy New Year. It's already New Year in the future when this airs. However, it's the past right now for me. So actually, it's the present right now for me. Nobody cares. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about what was going on. So I was on the move. I was driving around with a very handsome gentleman. This gentleman and I went to Dairy Queen. Now, I didn't want to go to Dairy Queen particularly. I wanted to go get Mexican because I enjoy Mexican food. I also enjoy Dairy Queen, but I know right now for the economy, everything in the economy right now is like, I don't know, that's above my pay grade, but we do know that prices are high, right? Prices are high everywhere. But I was like, if I'm going to pay a significant amount of money, I would like to have a significant amount of food. Now, I get it. I'm fat. I'm lazy. I'm whatever. But I wanted a large portion because I was hungry. I was determined to eat. I was going to consume. This was pre-discussed with this person that I was going with, but he wanted Dairy Queen, and I agreed because I'm an agreeable person. I can make compromises in my life. So I greedily agreed to go to Dairy Queen, okay? We go to Dairy Queen. There's nobody in the drive-thru. There's a few cars in the parking lot. So I'm thinking, they're not that busy, right? So we pull up. He didn't know what he wanted yet. I also didn't know what I wanted yet because I don't typically order in a drive-thru. I will go through a drive-thru after, usually I don't do this either. I'll order on the app, go to a drive-up, right? The drive-up parking spots, you know the ones. They have the little sign, they bring it out to you, you check in, whatever. It's fine. Sometimes people go through the drive-thru. That's your prerogative if you want to do that. That's not my prerogative. I'm trying to have the least amount of social interaction with individuals that are employed as possible because let me tell you, in my experience, these interactions that I have aren't always good. Now, I'm not a Karen. In this situation, you guys decide in the comment section down below if I was a Karen, but I try not to be a Karen because I get it. I have worked as a server. I've worked fast food. I've worked retail. I've done it all, honey. Okay. I have done it all. And I know that there are circumstances beyond an individual employee's control that can mess up the experience. However, this is why I like to order on the app, because if I order on the app, I can say, I want X, Y, and Z on my order. I have it perfectly the way I want it. I make sure it is correct. I send it to you. And then if the mess up happens or transpires, it has to happen somewhere along the way in the kitchen to the person that takes out the order to me, right? I am fully out of the loop, right? I'm fully in the loop on what should be correct, but I'm out of the loop on what is incorrect if something transpires and it happens in the restaurant, right? So there's no blame on me, right? This situation is a little different because we drive up to the drive-thru. It's not one of those drive-thru things that has the screen or the AI. It's like the old-fashioned speaker, right? And the old-fashioned menu that's on the big old neon lit sign, right? So I'm like, okay. Hey, hi, hello, right? They say hello and like order whatever when you're ready, right? It wasn't a very like friendly voice or person. And I said, hey, could you give us just a second? I'm not quite ready. And normally I would never go up to a drive-thru if I wasn't ready to order, but there was no one in front of us and there was no one behind us. At least the person in front of us had way pulled up, right? They were still waiting on their order. And I didn't even know that yet because I hadn't pulled forward. But at this point in time, I think there's nobody in front of us, right? So I'm like, okay, it's all right to take a second because no one's waiting behind us. If somebody was waiting, I would feel extremely bad that I don't know what I'm ordering, right? I have no idea what I'm ordering. So I was like, give us a second. Hey, could you give us a second? And they were like, order whenever you're ready. It was a girl.
Artifice.
I ordered when I was ready, but I didn't just start with my order because I know from working fast food that if you're like, hey, I would like a large cheeseburger after 5 minutes of waiting or whatever, then they're not ready to order because they're goofing off, they're cooking, they're doing whatever they're doing, right? So I was like, hello, I think I'm ready. And then they said, go ahead. Okay, I will go ahead. Now, you may be thinking, Jesse, you don't have receipts for this. You're wrong, because I do. I have literal receipts for this, and this happened just a couple days ago. Now, let me tell you. I'm going to tell you what I ordered and how I ordered it. So this is what's on the receipt, and it was just frustrating. Okay, so I ordered the gentleman's order first because I like to get that out of the way, make sure it's correct. Because in my mind's eye, right, I have my mind on what I'm going to order as well, and I want that to be correct. I want it to be correct. I want their order to be correct. But if I waited till second, I would have gotten their order wrong. So I was like, he tells me what he wants. I start to order. So I say, hi, I would like a large chili cheese dog because that's what he wanted. And I was like, could I get cheese curds instead of fries? Because we were being big backs. Okay, we wanted cheese curds. Actually, the main thing I wanted that day was cheese curds. That was why I was okay with Dairy Queen, because I wanted some deep fried cheese, okay? But he wanted cheese curds as well because he thought that was a good idea. Not so great for the heart disease, pretty good for the palate, right? So I ordered the large chili cheese dog with cheese curds, and then I said, hey, could I also have a large Sprite?
Delicious.
Meaning combo, right? I feel like if you order an entree, you order the side and the drink, it is your job as the employee to up it to a combo, right? Which they did. They successfully did that. However, when I said the large beverage,
Okay, girly pop.
I feel as if that should have applied to the next order, right? We also were paying together. I paid for everything. So it should have applied to my order as well, or they should have asked if I wanted it a large. Now, I can take accountability here for my order, which was a 6-piece. Yes, I know it was a 6-piece. I ordered a 6-piece chicken strip basket. Now, this was, I believe they called it the sauce and toss. I don't know. It doesn't say on the receipt, but it was the one with barbecue sauce because I wanted those tenders. I wanted them tossed in barbecue. I wanted them hot. I wanted to dip it in the gravy. I wanted to eat my toast and the ranch and the gravy and the fries. No. We didn't want fries, sweetie doll. I said, I want a 6-piece chicken strip. I may be stuttering now, but I didn't stutter then. A 6-piece chicken strip, sauce and toss basket. Could I please change the fries to cheese curds? They said yes. Then I said, could I please also have a Diet Coke with that? They also said, sure. And let me tell you, I may be getting a little frantic right now, a little upset. I may be spitting on my microphone, but tell me why. Tell me why they did not ask me my beverage size. Now, I'm not really actually mad at this person. There's so much that goes on in a restaurant. They could have been new. They could have been lazy. They could have been preoccupied. They could have been inconvenienced by when I said, hey, can I take it? Will you take my order now, right? They should disclose that. I don't mind waiting. If you need a minute, this is fan food, not fast food, right, Dairy Queen? Like, this is fan food, not fast food. I don't come here to expect fast. Like, I expect hot. I expect cleanliness, people. I expect the clean food, pristine food. I expect
Diabetes.
at least borderline pleasantries, right? I don't need a hi, how's your day? But I do need, tone is everything with me. Like, tone is everything with me. So if you're like, what can I get for you? Or is that all? what happened to, does that complete your order? Would that be all for you today? Would you like a large beverage with that instead? Or would you like the whatever beverage it comes with, right? I think, and this is assuming, perhaps this is an assumption, but whenever I was a server or whatever, and other jobs I've worked, if there was a chance to upsell, you should be doing that, right? Not only from a business perspective, you should try to upsell because it's good for the corporation, right? That's what they tell you to do. Get the larger beverage, get the add-on of whatever thing is the special at that time. However, if the person, well, I was the person previously ordered, but the order before mine, it was a large beverage. So wouldn't you think, would you like a large as well? Right? I thought the large was implied. I thought the way the tone of the order was going, we understood that we were substituting the first cheese curd and also the second. And then I thought the beverage upsize was implied. And that may be my bad. And I can take an accountability for that specific wrongdoing in this situation. I think it's safe to say by this point that you guys realize that I did not get the large beverage, right? Which is fine. I didn't need it. I didn't need to drink whatever, is it aspartame that's in Diet Coke? I don't need that. I didn't need the Coke to begin with. I didn't need the food to begin with. I probably should have skipped 3 meals, but that's not the point here. The point is that I am a paying customer, right? And I'm paying for a service. I'm paying for an experience. And I feel as if that experience wasn't met properly to the standards of which Dairy Queen tries to adhere to as a corporation. Now, again, I'm not trying to fault these 2 individuals that I dealt with because there was an individual that took my order and there was an individual at the window. And according to the receipt, they are different people. So
let's get ready to rumble.
Imagine my horror as we get the food. First of all, we don't even just get the food. The person took forever in front of us. And then I get up there, I pay. I'm like, here's my credit card. I said, hello there, or like, how are you? I said like a pleasantry, like not really expecting anything back. And they just said the total at me, which the total was, if I haven't already disclosed, they said $26.46, which wonderful number there. It's kind of a cohesive number. But like for 2 meals, which I assumed were both upcharged to larges, that's a lot of money. Like that's closer to $30 than to $20, right? So I was like, okay, that's a lot, but that's fine. This food's going to be hot. It's going to be good. It's going to be satisfying. It's going to be everything I want it to be and more, which honestly, the standards weren't very high from my perspective, but I digress. So this person, we pay, we sit there 5 minutes. They hand me the bag like this and say, have a nice day. Shut the window. No asking for, oh no, that's not true. I asked for napkins because they handed us the drinks first. And that was the first disappointment, right? Because they hand me the large Sprite and then they hand me the not large. It's like the classic medium look, right? But not only this is Petty Boots, and I know it's Petty Boots, but guys, the lids were like on, but they obviously were having an issue with the soda machine because like the tops and the sides were like dripping with soda. So it's like I didn't really have napkins. I keep some napkins in my car for my lunches at work. Like I save little extra napkins because I'm not trying to waste. I keep them in my little console, but also like I'm not trying to exhaust my reserves. Like I need those reserves for my special moments. So I'm like, I'm here. We haven't driven away now yet. We haven't even gotten the food. And I said, and also I could tell that person, that lady, she had soda all over her hand. And I was like, so she's probably going to need a napkin or to wash her hands. So perhaps she could hand me some napkins. So I was like, could you please hand me some napkins? Or like, could we have some napkins, please? I believe is how I phrased it. And she was like, sure. So kind of half closes the window, right? And then it was pretty quick after that, but we'd already been there a second. They give us the food, right? No pray tell to the napkins. Like there was no mention. There was no like, oh, the napkins are in the bag, nothing, right? So I'm like, okay. And I told the gentleman that I'm with, I'm like, hey, are there napkins in there? And he's like, yes. So we start drying our sodas, whatever. I drive away as we're doing this, kind of slow pull away because there was no one behind us. So I didn't feel like I needed to speed away. It wasn't a crime scene. I didn't have to, well, it could have been. It could have been a crime scene, but I didn't speed away, like I really needed to get out of there, So we pull around. We end up just parking in the lot because we're like, let's just eat it here. And I was like, say no more, fam. So I was already disappointed about the drink because it was also late. I was tired. I had worked that day and I was like, okay, let me get some caffeine in the system. That was the whole point to the Diet Coke. I really was dehydrated and probably should have been drinking Ice Mountain. Hashtag not sponsored. But I definitely needed something in me with caffeination, right? Because I've relapsed on caffeine, if you couldn't tell by this video. So I take a sip of my soda. It's a decent soda, very full of ice. Too much ice, one could argue, but it was okay. That's just petty boots as well. So I open the chicken basket and I'm so excited because not only do I love a chicken basket, I'm excited because I love cheese curds. And my friend's food came out first, like it was on top. So I like handed it to him and he was getting it, whatever. So then I opened my box, because they put it in the box, and I open it and I'm like, oh, and then no cheese curds. Okay. And there's the saddest fries I've ever seen in my life. Like they look like if I took like a handful of little fries and like tossed them with grease on them and like they like plop to the paper and like stick and kind of set there for 5 minutes. That's how they looked. They weren't hot either. It was like pretty like mild, like lukewarm as well. And I was like, okay, this is a little sad. The gravy was very hot, which was good. Then the tossed like little tenders or whatever, they had barbecue sauce on them. I know this is petty boots and I know I am in a place of privilege that I can afford to eat and I can afford to go out, right? Every once in a while I can go get fast food. I can do this and I'm not saying that this is what we should be complaining about at all, but I am saying that my chicken tenders that I paid for did not have very much sauce on them and they were lukewarm, borderline cold. And I'm telling you, from the point we got the food to me parking was less than a minute. I would say it was closer to 45 seconds. So in my humble opinion, as a fast food connoisseur, I think that the food you order should be hot. It should be hot unless it travels through the space-time continuum on DoorDash or something. Like when you get it from the window 1 minute in, I feel like it should still be warm, right? Warm. Well, I'll even take warm, right? But it was borderline cold. The chicken. And the fries were sad. And I was devastated because I just wanted cheese curds, which I did eat one of the gentleman's cheese curds and it was delicious. And that was probably more than I should have eaten. And did I eat the whole chicken box? The chicken basket box without complaining to the people that were employed at this Dairy Queen? Yes, I did. Why wouldn't I? Of course I ate it. Of course I ate it. Of course I ate it and was happy like a little piggy. Of course. Of course I did that. Hello? Like I'm not going to waste my 2646. Hello? Like of course I'm going to eat it. And I'm not the type of person to go back through. Now, if you forget an item, or multiple items, it depends what the item is. If you forget, like the other day I went to Wendy's, this could be a whole nother video, but I had a good experience because they were kind and apologized. I went back in and I got my burger that they forgot for me and my friend. Okay. So like, I'm not too good to march in there. However, sometimes I'm going through a drive-through or I'm doing a drive-up order because I'm not presentable. I don't want to go in the building. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to go in because I don't look great, right? I don't want to be seen in public. I don't want to be seen by the one person that even brings the order to me, right? And also, here's another thing. This didn't happen this day, but why the heck? Like, I appreciate when somebody reads the order off to me because yes, you're trying to be concise and get it like the order correct, but like, why do we have to list all 45,000 things that I've ordered at McDonald's, right? Do we have to do that? Like, and if we do have to do that, can we consistently do it, right? Because sometimes people just hand me the bag. They just like throw it at me, right? Or like some people are like trying to talk. Some people read off the order. Some people don't do any of that. Some people are just rude and throw it at you or like try to jump scare you. I swear they try to sneak up on you. But like, and I can fault that to training. I can fault that to like the establishment that, you're at getting food, whatever. But that's just a side tangent. Sorry, microphone. That's just a side tangent that I'm going on because there are a lot of issues with the fast food industry. And I feel like with the rates we're paying now, either you need to be paying your employees more or you may need to be taking a little bit of money from the CEOs to work on the training that the employees go through, right? Because not everybody is raised the same and not everybody has manners. not everybody has manners. And I will say that the two people that I did have contact with at this specific Dairy Queen could use some training in manners. Now, maybe they had a bad day, right? Maybe both of them were having an awful time. Maybe it was busy inside the store. Maybe they had just dealt with like other people that were really moody or whatever. But whenever I pay for an upcharge, right? Like the upcharge of the cheese curds on the first was a $2 upcharge, okay? The large Sprite was a $40 upcharge, which is fine because I'm going to pay for what I order, right? But I will say they did not upcharge me on the second one. So like, I think it was a computing issue, but why are we computing something different than I said after you have confirmed that I said it, right? Because I said, could we also change that to cheese curds as well? Like, it wasn't like cheese curds with that, right? I was very specific. I'm like, could I get the blah, blah, blah chicken box or whatever the it's called, the chicken basket, right? And then could I please also change the side to cheese curds, right? That is a long statement. That is several words. And for them to also then confirm it verbally to me, like there's no screen. I can't see the screen. There's nothing there that was like, like I can't see that it's been confirmed. Why are we verbally confirming and then sending the order through and then you know, like where's the follow through? And I know from working at these places, there are multiple people with headsets, unless it's a very short-staffed establishment, right? Usually more than one person is hearing the order. And I do know, unless it has changed from Dairy Queen specifically, I used to have friends that work there. They can hear the drive-through orders in the kitchen without headsets. It's something that plays for them. I could be wrong about this now. I don't know. Let me know in the comment section down below if you guys have insider intel. But tell me why. It's like you can hear me ordering the cheese curds, right? If this is true. And you don't know to drop them into the fryer.
It's hard being an icon.
And also, why was my chicken cold? Like, was the sauce so cold that it was frozen or something? And you're throwing my chicken into frozen sauce and then it just gets lukewarm to cold? Like, I don't know. Also, isn't that a health hazard? Like, to have cold meat? Like, usually I like meat of all temperatures, but you guys know what I'm saying here. And I know this is a small fish to fry, but it's not about the small fish. It's about the money you're paying as the customer and the customer service experience. I don't know freaking Dairy Queen's ideals, their mission statement, whatever. I don't need to know that to know that you want your customers to come back. You want your customers to come back. You want them to have a pleasant experience. So they tell you their friends and they're like, hey guys, hey. Let's go to Dairy Queen. I love Dairy Queen. Let's go. Also, what is it with Dairy Queen? They like do the boop of the ice cream, right? They flip it upside down, but then it's like, sometimes people don't do it. Like every time I go there, they don't do it. Or I don't know what that is. Like, am I supposed to get a free Blizzard if they don't do it? Is that the tea? Because some people don't do it. So Dairy Queen, lower your prices, probably pay your employees more, maybe invest in better training, and honestly, give people hot chicken. And can we just be nicer to people? Like this rant that's transpiring right now, I would never have this with a customer service person while they are clocked in because that is not appropriate. I would never be like, excuse me. Hey, hey, Karen. Actually, I'm probably the Karen. Hey, Sydney Barbecue. Hey, it's me, Karen. Hey, you got my order wrong, right? I could have been that girl, even though there was no one behind me. Normally, like at McDonald's, I always do this at McDonald's. I'll look in the bag if I go through the drive-thru because
Shade,
I find that my orders are typically right when I do a drive up, but when I do a drive-thru, they're not. Okay, and maybe that's my specific McDonald's location, but I like to do a little peek in the bag. Because once you've driven off and if it's busy or whatever, like I don't want to be the person that's like, hey, I'm missing 40 items, right? And then having to go in my sweatpants and my botchedness. Hey, sometimes I'm botched. I don't want to do that. That's why I elected to either do the drive up or I elected to go through the drive through because, hey, shocking news. I didn't want to go in the store. So could I have opened the bag at Dairy Queen and been like, oh, where on earth is my cheese curds? But that's time consuming, right? And then you have to dig through the bag and you have to touch all the other person's food. And then you have to open it and be like, hey, actually this is wrong. And then, hey, I know from working at fast food, when somebody's opened their fast food like that, They aren't supposed to take it back through the window.
Respectfully.
Okay, they can keep it in the bag, but they're not supposed to, like, they can't give it to someone else. They can't reopen that and then dump the cheese curds in. That's not supposed to happen, okay? Or whatever item it is, because that's cross-contamination. You're not supposed to take trash from a guest or a customer. You're not supposed to do any of that because it's cross-contamination. You don't know where my hands have been. You don't know what's under my nails. You don't know what's going on in that car. People order all the time because they're sick or have COVID or whatever it is. So if I had done that, even with no one in the drive-thru, I'm the problem. Not that there was an opportunity given, because it's like, here's your bag, right? Window shut. We did get our napkins, though. I wouldn't say that they gave us very many, but we did get some napkins. So I guess overall, I would say 3.5 out of 10. And that's only because we got some of the cheese curds, okay, and one of the large beverages. But for the price point, I mean, $26.46, that's a lot of money. And there is like a little thing where I can get a free dilly bar on here if I do a survey. But guys, I don't think they want me to do a survey. I don't think they want a survey for me. And I'm not one to leave like a bad review. Actually, I have left a few bad reviews, but I've left several good reviews. I don't like leaving reviews anyways, because I'm trying to make my digital presence as big as possible, but reviewing is not the way I've been doing that. Although if you want me to pivot, I could do that for you. I think I could leave some fun reviews, but when I leave a review, it is truthful. So I don't want to like lay it on too thick. I wouldn't want your chicken to be cold. You know what I'm saying? But I do, when I leave a review, want to be honest, right? So I don't know. Am I the problem? Probably. Am I the problem for, feeding into the system that feeds me? Probably. Am I a big back? Definitely. Am I lazy and didn't want to cook for myself? Definitely. But I don't think that that is the root of the issue here. And maybe I'm wrong. Let me know in the comment section down below. I'm going to get a salad, but probably not today. So happy New Year, everybody. This is a banger to start out the new year with, but we have new videos coming next week and the week after, hopefully, unless my life falls apart. But if it does, you can count on hearing about it here at Jessie Vesper Nation. Also, let me just say, if you guys aren't privy to this information, I do little blogs in my YouTube bios, and sometimes I do little blogs just in general on YouTube because I've been off some of the social medias, and you guys can catch up with me in a little bit of a deeper way over there. So I have new videos coming soon. I'd like at least 3 of you, and let me know what you want to see from me next, okay? Okay, everybody got it? All right. I'll see you in the drive-thru. Bye.